Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Brittany Campbell, and I want to take the time to thank you for being here, express my gratitude for you taking the time to listen to what I have to say about something that is near and dear and important to me. Um, so I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey today on some research that I plan to do regarding adult substance abuse and mental illness and homelessness and how all of those things are correlated. So, what's the problem here? The correlation of substance abuse and mental illness and homelessness. Um, Homelessness is a huge issue everywhere, but it's really dominant in California, Southern California specifically, where I live. Homeless people encounter many obstacles when it comes to access to quality mental health and substance abuse treatment. These barriers result in persistent homelessness and further house disparities. The question of how to best address this concern is imperative to enhance service delivery and outcomes for these marginalized groups. And right now, according to available data, approximately 25 to 50% of homeless population in the US struggles with substance use disorder, with studies often citing that around 38% of those homeless individuals abuse alcohol and 26% abuse other drugs as well. So here's a brief overview on the history of homelessness and how it's been associated to mental illness and substance abuse dually. Um, as you guys know, I'm sure homelessness is multifaceted. Um, and it's a multifaceted social work issue specifically that affects millions of people around the world. Homelessness has been a growing epidemic in California specifically since 2017. It is defined by the lack of stable, permanent, and adequate shelter or home. The causes of homelessness are varied and often interrelated, right? So this is what we're talking about here, with substance abuse and mental illness being significant contributing factors. Understanding the correlation between these things is vital for developing effective interventions and policies. Let's go ahead and continue. Um, the idea is that by understanding the complex relationship between homelessness, substance abuse, and mental illness, stakeholders can better address the root causes and provide effective support to those in need, which is many. This research will assess the experiences of homeless people in finding mental health and substance abuse services, as many of these people report barriers, including stigma, lack of provider acceptance, and insufficient resources already. An evaluation of these patterns from the past decade will be undertaken and shed light on the current gaps in order to develop solutions. We need solutions here. So, what are the experiences of homeless people with mental and substance abuse healthcare services in the city? This is what we need to answer. This is what we need to find out so that then we can use that qualitative research to look for solutions in the gaps in services and what's available for people out there. We need to know what factors are influencing the perceived effectiveness of mental health and substance abuse services among these homeless populations. So what we'll do is we'll provide a profile of homeless population living in the city and its relationship to mental health problems and substance use. We'll also look at existing gaps in service delivery for homeless individuals. And then we will also look at the contribution the study can give in advancing social work practice and policy. So, what is research and literature already telling us? It's important to look at what we can already see and learn from to move forward with finding out more that can be helpful, right? So, current literature outlines the absence of studies examining the micro, meso, and macro levels of homelessness with its intersection to the delivery of mental health and substance use services. Um, Although current investigations tend to focus on accessibility issues, many do not address the scope of the interactions as well between the service providers and the homeless individuals themselves. So, research does not currently systematically take into account the value of culturally specific care, which is super important. Another aspect of that, there are significant gaps in knowledge regarding the roles that gender and ethnic inequalities play in service experiences, outcomes, and the well-being of homeless people, which hinders the tailored solutions for each individual. So let's talk about the methodology, the framework, and the data that would be associated with the research that I plan to do that needs to be done. So the idea is that it's going to leverage the ecological systems theory to study the problem, as this framework is useful for examining individual, relational, and systemic factors shaping service experiences. It also offers directions on how to design the methodology and what to analyze in the thematic data analysis by contextualizing, the results within broader policy and social contexts. So more on this. What I plan to do is look at the transcripts of interviews, and they'll be coded for thematic patterns using in vivo software. After this, the codes will be iteratively derived from the data, focusing on service accessibility, quality of interactions, and cultural significance. Reliability will be ensured through an intercode agreement as well. So more about the methods. This research will adopt a qualitative methodology employing semi-structured interviews with purposefully selected respondents recruited through service providers. This method was chosen since it allows for the gathering of descriptive data, which is crucial for understanding the complex social problems at hand. Quantitative methods were rejected as an idea for this research because they do not adequately reflect the specific experiences, which is the main thing here. Okay, so continuing, what are the implications behind this research? Important to know, right? So the goal of this study is to discover barriers and to facilitate the use of mental health and substance abuse services among homeless people. The results will inform policy, improve service delivery, and the hope is to facilitate culturally competent care. Furthermore, this will contribute to a better understanding of behavioral responses to service interventions. This is idea of like what all is encompassed in homelessness. It's a great graphic to utilize. I'll be sure to share many references and resources that I have with everyone after the presentation is completed. So what's the impact of culture, diversity, and oppression here? So homelessness populations are diverse, of course, and the range of their experiences varies depending on race, gender, sexual orientation, and disability. So there is a need for solutions regarding systemic oppression and cultural inappropriateness in the delivery of the services they're attempting to receive. My research will investigate the effects of these factors on service experiences as well as the outcomes. So hugely important. What are the ethical considerations here, right? So the ethical considerations during this research will include informed consent, protection of data, and the minimization of harm to subjects. The plan is to complete all this work with the guides of the Nassau Code of Ethics, of course, and that will bring focus on the principles of respect for dignity, adherence to the right to self-determination, and upholding social justice overall. Participants will be free to withdraw at any time from the study without any penalty. And the study will also avoid specific questions that might re-traumatize participants depending on the experiences that they may have had. So, what are my recommendations here? So, the recommendations here would be to improve funding for trauma-informed and cultural competent service providers. We want to design targeted interventions tailored to the unique needs of subgroups within the homeless population. And we also would like ample coordination between service agencies and policymakers to tackle the systemic barriers that we do have. All I have for now, I'm happy to take any questions that you guys may have. I hope that this sounds like something that could be promising to help those most in need out there right now. And again, I thank you for your time and your consideration in this matter. My information is below if you would like to contact me at any time. And thank you again.